It's race 2 of the weekend for the ADAC TCR Germany here at the Nürburgring. We are on the Nürburgring sprint circuit, the 3.6-kilometer bull ring, which always promises exciting motor racing, particularly if you're in something with some vendors that can take a little knock here and there, and that's certainly what the TCR cars provide us. It's Martin Andersson with the Honda Civic on pole position once again, as was the case yesterday as well. As you see, applauding himself there. He seems pretty happy with his performance to this point in the weekend. This time, though, Jessica Bachmann has had a much better run of things in the qualifying session. She didn't get a good qualifying yesterday. Today, though, she is on the front row and will be challenging Martin Andersson every step of the way. René Kirscher and Jonas Karklis will also be looking to insert themselves into the scrap from row 2. Of course, extra points on the board for Martin Andersson, courtesy of that pole position. He is now 24 points clear of Jessica Bachmann in the championship. 209 points for Andersson, 185 for Bachmann, the Swedish driver. It's going to be Honda versus Hyundai. It's going to be Engstler versus ADAC Motorsport at the front end of the order for this one. It's half an hour plus 1 lap of racing. And we did have something of a grandstand race yesterday afternoon for the TCR Germany. We expect it to be much the same here today as well. They've had a much tighter turnaround between qualifying and race for this one as well. So anyone who has experienced any issues in qualifying may be a little bit hampered. It does appear as though we are missing one car. That is the second of the Holden Astra TCRs out of the Maurer Motorsport troop. Unfortunately, Michael didn't qualify and he isn't on the grid for this either, so a shame that we've lost a car, but nonetheless, you see the grid. We've talked you through the first 2 rows already. Third row of the grid is Simon Ladniak and Max Grun, who had a really good qualifying lap earlier on in the day. Patrick Singh on row 4 alongside Robin Jarre. Marco Butti on row 5 alongside Roland Hertner, and row 6 of the grid is Vincent Rademacher and Kai Rozovsky. So you've got 6 rows of cars, you've got some championship winning drivers in amongst that, and 2 competitors fighting for the 2022 championship occupying the front row of the grid. Certainly, the likes of Simon Ladniak and Jonas Karklis could yet play spoiler in this season. You see there the points at the moment. Certainly Ladniak very much still in contention. All it will take is a bad run of form from either Andersson or Bachmann in 1 or 2 races, and he could find himself in the championship lead. We are on the 4th round of the season from a total of 7. This is race 8 of 14, so it is the second half of the season that we are now getting into. And at the halfway point, certainly it has been a compelling championship campaign. Andersson has been the more consistent of the 2 between himself and Jessica Bachmann, but Bachmann has taken more victories. She has been a little less profitable when she's not on the top step of the podium. 2 5th places and a bunch of victories, a quartet of victories coming into this weekend. She did, however, make it to the 3rd step of the podium yesterday, made up some good places in the race, and now she starts from P2 and will be able to challenge Andersson at the first corner, and I'm sure for the rest of the race as well. But before they consider turn 1, they have to consider the launch in these well over 300 brake horsepower TCR specification machines, all of them of course front wheel drive. That can be a challenge to launch a front wheel drive car. In the old days of touring car racing, when you had rear wheel drive and even 4-wheel drive machinery, often they would leave the front wheel drive cars standing off the line. Such is the difference between launching these cars. The front wheel drive cars are very tricky to get off the line efficiently, and of course course, you also don't want to leave too much of the tyre down on your grid slots. Don't want to spin them up as you get underway. It is Anderson then on pole position, the Danish driver, last year's runner-up in the TCR Germany Championship, is currently in the hot seat, currently our points leader for the Liqui Team Engstler Honda outfit. Let's see if he can extend that advantage today in race number 2 of the weekend from the Nürburgring sprint circuit. The lights are lighting up and they now go out. It's Anderson who launches them away. Looks like Jessica Backman, though, got a much better start. Indeed, she did. She leads. No start at all from, I believe, Roland Hurtner. Hurtner is not able to get underway from the grid. Everyone else going 2 and 3 wide, and it was inevitably going to go wrong, and it has done for Max Gruen. Max Gruen turned around by Patrick Singh. Rozovsky caught out in that one as well. That's a huge shame for Max Gruen, who had a really good qualifying. He went purple in the second sector on his way to 6th on the grid. He looked very promising, and now he is on the back foot as a result of that contact in the first few corners of the race. Jessica Backman it is, though, who leads from Martin Anderson, the Hyundai Veloster, at the position it has been most commonly seen this year. That is the lead. Jonas Karklees did not get a good start either. He is down as far as 6th position now, falling behind the Italian Marco Butti, who joins us for this weekend. The incident at turn 1 has just been declared as under investigation. I'm sure you will not be surprised to hear that. Anderson in the wheel tracks of Backman, goes to the outside almost through the Vidal chicane for the first time of asking. That is always an interesting approach, especially so early in the day. You know that Anderson is close to the back of Jessica Backman when you can see the sponsor on the front of the car, horse carrots, that it says on the front of the Liqui Team Engstler Honda. Anderson in the slipstream of Jessica Backman. Ladniak still there as well. It's 2 Liqui Team Engstler Hondas imposing behind the Veloster. Into 4th place there has gone Marco Butti, dived up the inside of René Kircher for 4th place, and look at that, all the way around the outside has gone Martin Anderson. Goodness me, got a great run out of the first corner and went all the way around the outside of Jessica Backman at turn 2. Ladniak's trying to do the exact same thing at turn 4, but he runs out of road, and I think Backman has held on to P2. Then Butti getting involved in this as well. He's got himself past Ladniak. Marco Butti up to 3rd place. Oh, but he loses the rear end of the Audi there at the apex of turn 5. Ladniak still side by side with the Italian, and he's closed out by Marco Butti, and that allows René Kircher through into 4th place for good measure. Ladniak has gone from 3rd to 5th in about 3 corners, and Martin Anderson has moved into the lead of the race. It looked like he got a good run out of turn 1. I wasn't quite expecting it to be that good, but it was. Incidentally, as we see the replay of the start, Roland Hurtner did eventually get underway and is circulating at the back of the field. Martin Anderson then didn't get the best of starts off the line. It was a good launch for the 26 car for Jessica Backman. And then we saw further back in the pack Max Gruen being tagged by Patrick Singh as he tried to turn into the apex of turn 1. Incidentally, that has been decided that no further action should be taken, so they've had a look at the incident and they've decided that no further action is required there. And there's the confirmation that Roland Hurtner did eventually get off the line from the start of the race. And here's a replay of that surging run up the hill from T1 to T2 for Martin Anderson. The Type R, the Honda, clearly using its VTEC out of the first turn, moving up into the lead. So we're just on 5 minutes into this race, and Anderson is building an advantage at the head of the order, 1.3 seconds last time across the line in favour of the Dane. Bachmann in second place, and Marco Butti resolutely there in third position in the Audi TCR. We go back to live pictures now, and you see that Bachmann looks to be under threat here from Marco Butti, the driver making his debut this weekend with the Elite Racing squad. Through the Vidal chicane we go, and Marco certainly taking heavy use of those sausage curbs. Rene Kirscher in fourth place. He is also a driver for Roja Motorsports, of course, so he will be looking to maybe try and play a bit of an assistant role to Jessica Bachmann here in this battle for second place. He'll also be very keen to get past Marco Butti, because Butti and Kirscher are both a part of the Junior Challenge. And so Marco leading the way in that category at the moment, ahead of Rene Kirscher. Marco all over the back of Jessica Bachmann for now. Jessica going very defensive to the inside at T2 and T3. Butti trying to get a good run out of 4, and I think he did there. They run towards the cut through at turn 5 on this sprint layout at the Nürburgring. He's not quite able to draw alongside, but he does tickle the rear end of the Hyundai. Jessica Bachmann rather pushed aside there by Marco Butti. They're still side by side at T6, and Jessica Bachmann holds on to second place for now, but this is not the race that she was wanting to have. She was wanting to challenge that man Martin Anderson. She was ahead of Martin Anderson at turn 1 and for the first couple of laps, but now she's having to fend off Marco Butti into the final chicane they go, and every time Marco bounces over those curbs, I do flinch a little bit, because he is seemingly a little more aggressive than anyone else out there when it comes to the curbs at the moment. Marco with a good run out of the last corner. Let's see if the Audi has the legs up against the Hyundai Veloster. The car that was originally designated for the American market, now a firm part of TCR Germany, and up the inside goes Marco Butti in the Audi. Does he get the car stopped for the corner? The answer is no, and I think he may have a problem there, because he's suddenly slowed up completely, and he's fallen back to 5th, maybe even further back than that. I'm not convinced that Audi is A1 after the moment there. He locked up into the first turn, and then it was as if he didn't really get back on the throttle. Maybe a brake stuck on or something like that. You could see that the tyre's smoking as he ran towards turn 2, but suddenly, after challenging for second place, the Audi driver is outside of the top 6 now. Calm and collected is Martin Anderson as he watches it all go on from further back. Jessica Bachmann in P2, Rene Kirscher in 3rd place. Anderson is currently our leader. Bachmann and Kirscher in 2nd and 3rd place still. You see they're wearing the similar liveries. They're both, of course, from Roja Motorsport. One of them is an I-30. One of them is a Veloster. The more coupe-shaped Veloster is the car of Jessica Bachmann. Meanwhile, of course, you have the Veloster, or rather have I-30, the more of a hot hatch style car in the hands of Rene Kirscher. Simon Ladniak then has been promoted to 4th place as a result of the woes for Marco Butti. Karklis has dropped down as far as, or moved up as far as P5, I should say. Robin Jarre taking 6th place. Rademacher up to P7. Unfortunately, Marco Butti has yet to cross the line. I think he might be right down to the back of the order. According to the timing screens, he is still circulating in P12, but he is a long way away from the rest of the pack. So problems for the Audi competitor at a rather early juncture in this race. And it is a shame after they had issues yesterday as well, come to think of it. They dropped down quite far in the last 3 or 4 laps as if he didn't have the power in the car, and now he has just enough power to trundle back to the Elite Motorsport garage, where I suspect that car will stop for the final time this weekend. Hopefully they will move onward and upward to our next meeting at the Sachsenring, but it seems as though the Nürburgring has turned against them yet again here in race number 2. Martin Andersson then on lap 6 of the race is still our race leader. Incidentally, the bulletin on the timing screen says black and white flag for car 46, Marco Butti, but I suggest that's neither here nor there since that car is still in pit lane. Andersson with a 2.9 second gap over Jessica Bachmann at this stage of the race. Jonas Karklees there in 4th place, recovering nicely from his poor getaway at the beginning of this race. Patrick Singh there in 6th place. He was challenging for podium positions yesterday. He's a little further off this time. Of course, he was involved in that first corner collision. And there we see Roland Hurtner back into the pack now as well. He's gotten past Kai Rozovsky. So Hurtner, a former ADAC Pro Car champion back in 2010 with the same team. He's resolutely an Engstler driver. He's now moving back up the order. Car number 9 into position number 9 for the time being. Let's see if he can get any further up the order. Rozovsky doesn't look like he has any imminent challenge for him in the Audi RS3. Here comes Andersson then around turn 8. For the 7th time of asking, and it is really a commanding performance here from the Dane, a serial winner of numerous national championships in Denmark and the Scandinavian region. Moved into the world of TCR last year in the German Championship. Just getting a replay here of how he took the lead earlier on. Really was stellar driving from Andersson. Didn't have the inside into turn 1. I didn't think he'd be able to get to the outside for turn 2, but the run out of the corner was exemplary. And Andersson struck while the iron was hot in the early stages of the race and moved into a lead that he is now maintaining nicely. 3 seconds is the gap between himself and Jessica Bachmann. And Simon Ladniak is into the pit lane. Ladniak has come into the pits, so he has dropped out of a top 6 position there. And you're getting the finito signs there out of the crew. They seem rather puzzled as to what's happened there. There was a bit of a collision between Bachmann and Kirsche earlier on. Now, was that really major enough to bring the car into the garage? Well, possibly so. Nonetheless, Ladniak is out. Max Grun is also in the pit lane as well. So the Grun Stahlbau Racing car also in. It's been a race of attrition this so far. None of the dramas are befalling this man, Martin Andersson, though. As far as races go, this one has been fairly simple ever since the overtake at turn 2 for the Dane. I believe that Karklees is continuing to close in on the Rene Kirsche car up ahead, so we could yet see a challenge for 3rd place. There is Max Grun, as we alluded to. The crew taking a look at the Audi engine bay. Doesn't look like there's any immediate progress for them, and there is Simon Ladniak. He's already taken a pew, and his day is done. We've lost a few cars already. Thankfully for Engstler, the hopes and dreams of their team not all in one basket. Martin Andersson currently leading the way. Of course, Roland Hurtner has also had some trials and tribulations in this one. He's some 12 seconds off of Vincent Rademacher. Those two, of course, are running in the trophy class, and at the moment it will be Advantage Rademacher in the trophy category. There is the Holden Astra. Of course, the Astra going to market as a Holden, as a Vauxhall in the UK, and indeed as an Opel in a majority of Europe. But the Holden brand, sadly no more, and it does live on through this Maurer Motorsport campaign in TCR Germany, which is really great to see. There is Jessica Bachmann hopping over the curves. We saw Anderson doing so aggressively just a few moments prior as well. Certainly not afraid to test the shock absorbers here in TCR. Anderson onto the brakes into turn 5. There's Bachmann, there's Kirscher, and there's Karklees, second, third, and fourth. It is 5 Hyundais in the top 6. Unfortunately, the position that matters most, the lead, belongs to the Honda of Martin Anderson. See there the deltas between Bachmann and Kirscher. It seems as though Jessica has had the edge over the last couple of laps here. Turns it into 9 and 10 yet again. You see that, very precise with the amount of sausage curb taken. Gap has moved up in the last few laps from 2.9 to 3.2 seconds, the gap between Anderson and Bachmann. I'm just wondering if it might be starting to come down. Indeed, it did fall in favour of Jessica Bachmann by just a few hundredths of a second on that last lap. But the gap remains at 3.1 seconds in favour of Anderson. Now, in the race yesterday, it seemed that all of the Liqui Hondas started to struggle in the latter 10 minutes or so of the race. All 3 parties in the Hondas, be it Roland Hurtner, be it Simon Ladniak, or indeed this man, Martin Anderson, all seem to drop off the pace quite quickly in the final stages of the action. I just wonder whether, if that's something to do with tyre wear in regards to the setup or whatever it may be, I just wonder if that may be a factor in this race again. Certainly at the first and second split, Anderson hasn't been too bad on this lap. About even with Jessica Bachmann. Anderson heads up to the final corner once again. You see there off to the left where the cars would join the Nordschleife on the 24-hour layout here at the Nürburgring. Of course, TCR cars, a staple of the Nürburgring 24 hours, and Hyundai very successful in their campaigns in the Nürburgring 24-hour with drivers from ADAC TCR Germany and WTCR as well. There is Anderson just under 3.1 seconds. It's hardly budged on that last lap. A hundredth of a second in it between the two over the course of the lap in favour of Anderson on that occasion. Of course, the Engstler Motorsport team, who we look at there. Just getting another look here at Marco Butti's race-ending dramas. Still not exactly sure what happened there, but car's sudden halt was rather surprising. Quite a shame as well. Wheel in the air there for Patrick Singh as well. Always entertaining. And Anderson, with his dramatic lines into turn 9 and 10, is certainly good slow motion replay fodder. Of course, the Engstler Motorsport team that has been very dominant as a force in the ADAC TCR Germany. They've taken 3 consecutive titles in the drivers' standings, with Luca Engstler, of course, the reigning champion from last year, now moving up to GT3 competition in ADAC GT Masters. Martin Anderson looking to add to the tally for Engstler this year. Such a decorated team in the world of touring car competition. Been associated with many manufacturers over the years. You go back to the late 90s, they were running Alphas in the German STW Championship, the Super Tourenwagen Series. And of course, BMWs for many years in the ADAC Pro Cars and indeed the World Touring Car Championship. And became a big part of the Hyundai TCR program, and now representing Honda, and catching the inside of that curb mustn't be a nice feeling. Patrick Singh pressing on there in his Hyundai. He's behind Robin Jar at the moment. 22 car under threat in this battle for 5th position. Robin is the 3rd driver in the stable for the Roger Motorsport by ASL Lichtblau, whereas Patrick Singh is competing under his own Race Singh banner. And he is well in the tow of Robin Yar now. Let's see if Robin goes defensive into the chicane. No, he doesn't. It looks like he's leaving the door open for Patrick Singh. He does. Well, that was made very easy for Patrick. Will Robin maybe try and challenge back going into the first corner? He will be in the slipstream. Let's see if he tries to use it. That was all very orderly there for Robin Jar. He pulled off to the right and said, "You have the apex, my friend." And Patrick didn't need to be asked twice. Of course, Patrick Singh on something of a recovery drive after his involvement in the first corner issues for Max Grun and co. He tagged the Audi of Max Grun. Kai Rozowski got caught out in that one as well, of course. Gap between Anderson and Bachmann has gone down over the last couple of laps. It's down to 2.7 seconds. Again, that's only a 3/10 reduction, and with 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go, it really needs to start shrinking at a greater rate for Jessica Bachmann to capitalise in any significant manner. She has been quicker in both of the sectors so far on this lap. I suspect another 10th, maybe 2, will be taken out of the lead on this lap by Jessica Bachmann. She'll be ruining the fact that Anderson managed to get by in the first place after her lightning getaway at the beginning of the race. Anderson into the final turn. I tell you what, Anderson makes up a lot of time in that 3rd sector. I think, again, it's down to how aggressive he is on the curbs into turn 9, the first element of the Vidal chicane, because he'd lost practically 2/10 in the first part of the lap, and he gained a majority of it back again just in that final sector. I think Jessica Bachmann a little more cautious on the curbs at the chicane. And that is where Anderson is making up some of his time. Across the first sector split they go yet again, and once more a few hundredth seconds are fallen in favour of Jessica Bachmann. See if we can watch Anderson through 9 and 10 this time, and then perhaps Bachmann as well, because there is a marked difference in how they attack the corner. There is Anderson. Absolutely launches it across the curb, and Bachmann is a little more respectful of the sausage curb by the looks of it. 4.5 minutes plus 1 lap remain here, and Martin Anderson continues to pull away from the pack here. Gap is down to 2.6 seconds, so it's fallen slightly in favour of Jessica Bachmann yet again. It seems as if this man, Martin Anderson, is on the verge of yet another victory. Practically a perfect weekend for Anderson. Pole yesterday, victory yesterday, pole today, and leading today. Yesterday was only his second win of the 2022 ADAC TCR season. The first of them came at the Oschersleben circuit, race 2 of the season. He has not taken a victory since then. However, he has yet to finish off the podium. He has been on the podium in all 7 of the races that have happened in this season so far, and that consistency is what is helping him along into the status of title favourite. There's René Kirscher, up and over the curbs. It's a good thing that Hyundai also build rally cars, eh? I'm sure there's some data that can be mined, some shock absorbers that can be borrowed for that chicane. Gap has remained at 2.6 seconds for Anderson on that occasion, so I'm not convinced that Jessica Bachmann is going to get close enough here. 2.5 minutes, and the gap has gone down by a mere seconds, mere tenths of a second over the course of the last 10 or so minutes. And you see there that it's not moved by a tenth at all in the last 3 laps. So Jessica Bachmann has seemingly done enough at this stage to take second, but not move up and challenge Anderson for the lead. Sizable intervals up and down the order at the moment. René Kirscher and Jonas Karklis are the 2 closest drivers to each other. Karklis 1.9 seconds back from René Kirscher last time across the line. And this time across the line, Martin Anderson will begin the penultimate lap of the race. He has been around this circuit some 18 times already. Looks like we're going to get an even 20 laps at the end of this one. He crosses the line now to begin at lap 19 with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. We do add 1 lap at the end of the half hour. And it seems as though Martin Anderson just has to cruise it home now. Jessica Bachmann flashing the headlights. Perhaps still stating her intent here. Bachmann 2.534 seconds off of Martin Anderson for now. René Kirscher He's been steadily losing time to Jessica Bachmann. He will, of course, claim the rookie honours here. In fact, all of his competition in the rookie class, Max Grun, Simon Ladniak and Marco Buti, are the 3 drivers we've lost from this race. So René Kirscher has won a last man standing match of a TCR Germany junior race. Jonas Karklees into turn 7 there. Looks like he's starting to struggle for front-end grip and on turning a little bit there. He's scrabbling for traction through Bilstein corner, turn 7. +1 lap is confirmed then as Martin Andersson comes across the line now to begin what will be the final lap of this race. See the gap between Andersson and Bachmann again. Is it down? Yes, it is. 2.4 seconds. So once again, it seems as though the Honda hits a wall, perhaps with the tyres, before some of the cars around it. However, it is still Andersson that leads the way and has a comfortable advantage. Less of a comfortable situation for Robin Jahr, who now finds himself under threat from Vincent Rademacher. Rademacher in the Holden, in the wheel tracks of Robin Jahr. Doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed he needs. Oh, Robin almost pitched into a slide there, going over the bumps into turn 1, locks up the brakes all the while, and Rademacher may get to the inside here for turn 2. Oh, a bit of a tag there. That's some old school touring cars, isn't it? You can tell Rademacher has been in this business of touring car racing for a while. He moves up into 6th position there, past the Hyundai in the Holden Astra for Maurer Motorsport. A little bit of a tag, nothing that we haven't seen happen in touring car racing before. Rademacher, a veteran of Pro Car and DTC competition, among other things, and he has moved up to 6th place on the final lap. Martin Andersson around the final corner then. And it is Martin Andersson who claims a resolute victory in the second and final ADAC TCR Germany race of the weekend. He heads to Lausitzring in a fortnight with an ever more comfortable championship advantage. Jessica Bachmann taking 2nd place, René Kirscher taking 3rd, and rounding out the podium, also claiming the rookie class honours, and Jonas Karklees taking 4th place. Our winner, Martin Andersson, as Robin Jahr has got back past Rademacher on the last lap for 6th place. So Rademacher was through. He's now lost the position. He tries to drag race out of the last corner. Oh, contact between the 2 of them. It's a drag race to the line, and it's going to fall in favour of Vincent Rademacher with a nose ahead. The timing screen says 0.003 of a second between Rademacher and Robin Jahr, and Vincent Rademacher with some veteran racing on the final lap. A little bit of a tag to take P6 at turn 2. Somewhere on that last lap he lost it again, only to reclaim it at the final corner with a little more bodywork rubbing going on. Now Rademacher, I think Robin Jahr, oh yes, he dove up the inside at the final corner, and it looked as though Rademacher let him back through, but then he only went and took the place back. Very compelling final lap then for Vincent Rademacher and Robin Jahr. Rademacher taking 6th place, also taking the trophy class honours ultimately for Maurer Motorsport Holden. A dramatic conclusion to his race there, and some retro touring car style rubbing his racing work as well. Good to see that they gave each other a thumbs up as well at the end of the race there, so hopefully no hard feelings from any party. Martin Andersson claiming the win. Jessica Bachmann taking second place. René Kirscher rounding out the podium ahead of Jonas Karklees and Patrick Singh. Vincent Rademacher in sixth ahead of Robin Jar and Roland Hurtner. Kai Rozovsky, the only other finisher. Max Grun, Simon Ladniak and Marco Butti all failing to finish. René Kirscher taking the junior class win unopposed, thanks to Grun, Ladniak and Butti all having woes. And Vincent Rademacher taking the trophy class win, even though Roland Hurtner was also running. Hurtner, of course, didn't get off the line properly in the number 9 Liqui Engstler Honda. Andersson pulling up with another victory added to his tally. That makes 3 for the season. The most winningest driver of 2022 is still Jessica Bachmann, who has taken 4 victories, neither of which have come here at the Nürburgring. In fact, this is the first race weekend of the season where Bachmann hasn't claimed the top step of the podium at least once. Andersson with a double win, emulating the feat that Jessica Bachmann achieved at the Red Bull Ring. Martin Andersson one step closer to potentially becoming the ADAC TCR Germany champion. The gap is now 29 points in favour of Andersson. Respect between Andersson and Bachmann. The Roja Motorsport Hyundai driver came into this weekend just 8 points back from Andersson. So Andersson has clearly proven to be effective here at the Nürburgring. 2 victories, 2 pole positions, which of course are also points paying. René Kirscher with the 3rd place as well. And the Engstler team here to congratulate their man. And it was 4 Hyundais in the top 5. Jessica Bachmann 2nd, René Kirscher 3rd. Jonas Karklees and Patrick Singh rounding out the top 5. However, Martin Andersson and Engstler Honda getting to the all-important top step. The GT Masters Esports Championship booth in use there. As someone is doing a very good job of blocking that particular shot. The racing action, not just confined to the circuit itself then. René Kirscher takes 3rd place in this one. 2nd place to Jessica Bachmann for the Roja Motorsport by ASL Lichtblau Hyundai squad. And that means that our winner, once again, is the Liqui Team Engstler Honda driver, the man who attacks curbs like no other, Martin Andersson, a double race winner at the Nürburgring. So there you go. Martin Andersson will soon take to the podium as our race winner in race 2 of the weekend for the ADAC TCR Germany. You see there some of the cars for the ADAC GT Masters getting ready for their race, which is coming up next on the schedule here at the Nürburgring, including, of course, last year's ADAC TCR Germany champion Luca Engstler, who races for Retronic Racing. in the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2 to give it its full prolonged name. But the Honda Civic, the car of the moment in ADAC TCR Germany this weekend. Of course, those cars prepared and built by the Italian ADAC Motorsport outfit, who have been building racing Hondas going back well over 20 years. They were responsible for some of the Honda Accord Super Touring car programs going into the late 90s and early 2000s. The Honda Accords in Super 2000 specification that we'll have seen in the forerunner to this championship, the ADAC Pro cars, as well as the World Championship, and these days managing the customer racing programs, not just in TCR, but also in the GT3 categories with the NSX GT3 Evo. So a very busy little workshop down there in Italy. Presenting, among others, the ADAC Motorsport team with a very, very well sorted car. Roja Motorsports' René Kirscher crossing the line to take third place today. Get the feeling that even though he took the junior win, he would have liked more from today. Jessica Backman taking second place. The Swedish racer still firmly in championship contention. Of course, Simon Ladniak with the non-finish may have seen a significant blow to his championship chances this season. No such woes, though, for Martin Andersen, the Danish racer, on the top step of the podium. Here comes his team representative, and happy faces all round here at the Nürburgring. We'll now hear the national anthem. There you go, the national anthem of Denmark plays. And Jürgen Fabry of the ADAC presenting the winner's trophy to that man, Martin Andersen. Second place trophy from Bernd Kurzweg to Jessica Backman. And here comes the third place trophy as well for René Kirscher, who will also claim the rookie class honours, of course. Or rather, I should say the junior class honours. I'm getting my ADAC categories mixed up for a moment there. And the team trophy also presented to Liqui Team Engstler. Another successful weekend of racing for the Engstler team. Another step closer, potentially, to the Engstler team taking a fourth consecutive driver's title in the ADAC TCR Germany, with the Dane Martin Andersen, their runner-up from last year. Can the combination of Liqui Team Engstler and Honda take a title on their first season of competition in TCR Germany? Well, there's still 3 rounds to come before they can take that title. Lausitzring, Sachsenring and Hockenheim. And for Jessica Backman there and the Roja Hyundai squad, it's going to be imperative that she finishes in the top step position at least once at Lausitz. But that's all to come in 2 weeks' time. For now, from the Nürburgring, we wish the TCR paddock well and safe travels home. They provided us with some exciting action today and indeed yesterday. We'll see you again for more in 2 weeks' time.